Hey everyone, it's Nephurita here, and today I'm gonna tell you all about the Hasadera temple, the dangers lurking on the beach of Kamakura, and I'll also show you why it's a bad idea to bring too much cash when hitting up the arcades. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get started. Hasadera Temple, along with other religious wonders, is a well-known attraction in Kamakura. It's located about halfway up Mount Kamakura, southeast of the city of the same name. Entrance to the grounds is a symbolic 400 yen, less than $3. The temple greets you with a classic koi pound, and just seeing it already makes the entrance fee worth it. On the temple grounds, as expected, there is a purification pavilion called Temizuye. The ritual involves rinsing your left hand, then your right hand, and then your mouth, using a special ladle, usually made of bamboo. The temple grounds are home to hundreds of small Jesus statues placed by parents mourning children lost to miscarriage, stillbirth, or abortion. According to the Buddhist beliefs, if we trust Wikipedia, a child who dies before birth, in other words, who hasn't yet been reincarnated, goes straight to hell. So, to appease the gods and ease the suffering of innocent souls, memorial services are conducted at these little statues. People burn incense, priests chant sutras, and pilgrims pour cleansing water over a large Jesus figure. The atmosphere of these rituals and the temple environment always take me back to my favorite survival horror genre, and games like Kuon, Fatal Frame, and Siren Blood Curse. There is a legend about the fountain of Hasadera temple. According to tradition, a monk living in the mountains near the village of Asuka in the early 8th century carved a statue of the goddess Kannon, the goddess of mercy in Japanese mythology who can transform, from a camphor tree and left it in the local Hasadera temple. The piece of wood was so large that the monk decided to carve another figure of the goddess and set it adrift on the sea. 15 years later, the statue washed ashore near Kamakura and a new home for the goddess was built, also named Hasadera. Here we see a warning sign about the danger of hawks swooping down, but Fabrizio had his own interpretation.
Italian and French people.
Turns out Italians and French have some kind of ongoing feud. No matter how much I wanted to soak in the religious atmosphere, my attention kept getting pulled back to the colorful koi fish, which I could stare at for hours. The cave called Benten-kutsu adds to this atmosphere as well. It has a long, winding tunnel with a low ceiling and various statues and dedications to Benzaiten, the sea goddess and the only female among the 7 lucky gods in Japanese mythology. Watch your head here, because some of the tunnels require you to crouch to get through. Before leaving, I went back to the koi pond to give those rainbow-colored fish some more of the attention they clearly crave. Our next step was Kamakura Beach. It was still April, so no one was planning to swim, but we wanted to hang out by the sea. On the way we passed a quaint little train station, which were later used, but as you might guess, there were more people wanting to board the train than it could actually hold. On the way to the beach, we encountered narrow streets where even a small car would have a hard time getting through. We reached the beach and, to be honest, in my humble opinion, it left much to be desired. Construction equipment, dirty sand packet hard in place. But it's worth nothing that this was before the start of the season, so it's probably much nicer now. Even back then, there were quite a few tourists longing by the calm sea. Oblivious to the danger hovering several dozen meters above, a member of the Hawk clan had already marked its target and was ready to strike. Missed, but it smelled blood and will return with backup to sow chaos and panic. In Japan, claw machines known as UFO catchers are super popular. These machines first appeared in the US, but in the 80s Japan quickly picked up the trend and expanded it widely. Arcades are everywhere and supposedly it's easier to win here than in other countries. There is also a belief that if you blow all your hard-earned cash on a bunch of tries, you can approach the staff, beg a little, and they will give you the prize. I have not tested this myself, but a year and a half ago I blew a bunch of 100 yen coins on a cheeky Pokemon and didn't get anything. Besides regular figures, plush toys and stuff like that, you can win instant noodles and other food items, which still feels like a bit of cultural shock to me. It's kinda weird to go play arcade games when all you want is a cup ramen.
Congratulations, Laura!
But of course we didn't come here for the noodles. Slava chose his target, Toka Yatogami from Date A Life, and started feeding his hard-earned yen into the machine. The box with figure looked like it was hanging by a thread, ready to fall with a puff of air, and a mere touch from the claw should send it rolling into the hands of eager player. But the claw kept touching, and Yatogami didn't budge an inch. Naturally, a true treasure hunter doesn't give up easily, and B continued feeding cash into the hungry machine. On close inspection, it seems that the soft grip was glued to the bar, but it looked like the material was designed specifically to make naive folks like us think it'd be easy peasy.
Go, in and out, 20 minutes adventure.
But in reality, the silicone stuff clings to whatever it touches, making it almost impossible to knock off or pick up. Slava ran out of coins and went to get more change. I was getting pretty tired of standing around, but Slava said, "Just one more time, and we're leaving for sure."
8 f***ing hours later.
Long story short, we didn't get lucky with this machine and moved on. We came across a machine where instead of hooking the damn thing, the claw was supposed to pick up the box and drop it between the stoppers so it would go straight into the collection bin. But as expected, the box refused to fall into the desired space and the machine kept eating coin after coin. If there are any viewers out there who can snag prizes from this machine on the first try, share your cheat codes. Because back in Russia there was one trick that often worked with claw machines. You wait for the last second, press at 00, and the claw doesn't do any extra jerking, which increases your chances of winning. But this trick didn't work even once here. Then a serious guy from the Italian mafia took over and started yanking all the boxes within reach of the claw, though only yanking them around inside the machine. It feels like the space where the box is supposed to fall is exactly the width of the north side of the box. And so Fabrizio kept feeding more and more coins, thinking this way.
Alright, okay, this is the one. This is the one. 50th time's a charm.
So, after 2 failed attempts, first with Slava and then with Fabrizio, we all 3 went to Kabukicho Tower to combine our strength and luck to finally milk some plastic prize from this greedy mechanical cow. This machine seemed more trustworthy from the start than the previous ones. Here you had to lift the box with the claw and trip it over the edge. The setup looked much more doable than the others. However, as usual, things turned out to be more complicated, and you had to pay for the game with a transport card. Fabrizio spent his money up to his last yen, then tapped up, thinking the win was close. They each grabbed, the box got closer to the edge, and finally, after collectively spending about 10,000 yen over these trips, one of us won a figure worth 3. Truly an incredible victory. And that's it for now. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.